Hey, what's up, you guys? Woody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of AMC's The Walking Dead. Getting back into the routine of things, I just did that Glenn discussion video earlier today / yesterday technically, to sort of make up for not doing a full review of that episode. And that's my cat. But with this video, we're definitely getting back into the routine of my channel. And so my overall thoughts about Season 6, Episode 4, Here's Not Here. I really did like the episode. I have already seen, quite a few people bashing it, because, they're the same people that, crave action left and right, walkers, blood, gore, stuff like that. And they just go crazy over these slower episodes. It's kind of hilarious. They seem to forget that The Walking Dead's not really just a zombie show. It's a human drama that happens to have a backdrop of a zombie apocalypse and stuff like that when it comes right down to it. Now that's been a little bit less so in the later seasons, for at certain times, but really when it still comes down to it, it is a human, drama. And so I'm not one of those people that gets upset about an episode like this. I thought this episode was overall very well done. Well acted for sure, very good writing. The only gripe I have with it, of course, is before I get into that though, of course, it had all to do with that Morgan flashback we had heard that we were going to be getting this season. Of course, my cat's at the door, and so I was actually looking forward to it. We hadn't known, we all kind of assumed that someone had taught him how to fight like a Ninja Turtle and stuff like that. And no, it actually wasn't a Ninja Turtle, it was a guy named Eastman. And, I'm gonna feed my cat real quick. Just please bear with me for 1 minute, guys. Alright, I apologize for that, guys, but you know how it goes, and this distracts her for a little bit longer. But yeah, of course, so we were all expecting this flashback episode, and, I just think Lenny James is such a strong actor, and the Morgan character, I think, has really been a lot more interesting compared to the comics. I haven't read the comics myself, but based on what people like Trev Chan 2 and others have said, the character of Morgan is just a lot more a lot more fleshed out in the TV series. And we all figured it was something, someone trained him, someone ended up meaning something to him, and so ended up changing his philosophy and his mental state on things and how he should exist in this world and what he should do while he does. And so there wasn't much in the way of plot. I mean, Morgan ended up getting captured by this guy, and the guy ends up putting him in a cell, and sort of just, we found out he's like a psychological type of guy before the apocalypse, so just piece by piece he interacts with Morgan, and eventually they start connecting over, similar experiences of loss, not completely, but they both lost their families. Of course, Morgan, we know, lost him, of course his wife was turned, and she ended up killing their son. And then with Eastman, we find out that he had the job of, evaluating and determining whether certain people who have committed, very harsh and dark crimes could be, released back into society and, exist with people, in a peaceful way. And one particular case Eastman had was with a guy named Crichton, and Crichton he really played the part of, he is really like a likable guy apparently, and he really played the part really well to fool everyone, show everyone he's on the right path, to be really positive and a good person to be around. But Eastman was someone who saw through that mask he put on, and because of that, Crichton made an attempt on Eastman's life, and Crichton ended up being able to fight him off because of Aikido. I can't remember exactly what fighting style that Eastman learned, but he had been learning it beforehand, so he actually ended up using it as self-defense, and he actually ended up being able to put Crichton away. And eventually, because of Crichton's charm, he got out, and he ended up killing Eastman's wife, daughter, and his son. And he just surrendered himself after that. And what Eastman ended up doing is he ended up building a cell in that cabin that Morgan's in, because he planned on capturing Crichton and taking him out there and just starving him to death. And we find out he actually did do that a little bit later on. But then when he came back to turn himself in, there was no one to turn himself in to. Because of course that's when the apocalypse started, while he was out there, watching Crichton die. So they kind of connected on similar experiences, similar mental states they had both been through and experienced. So I thought all their scenes were really good together. Lenny James and the actor who played Eastman had really good chemistry, especially in the scene when Eastman, talked about what exactly he did to Crichton and stuff like that. And of course, there was Tabitha the goat. Of course, whenever there's an animal on The Walking Dead, it's not going to last. And yes, Tabitha is eventually devoured, which really, not devoured completely, but killed by a walker, sort of eaten a little. And, that's sad to see. And over the course of the episode, we see, as Morgan starts to come around a little bit more, he reads into this book, thinks more about things Eastman said to him. And, we see him, he's training with Eastman with a stick and stuff like that. Learning move by move and, redirecting, his emotions, but also his physical being and things like that. And of course, we also seen, like, a bit more of a time when, after Rick had, met up with Morgan back in Clear in season 3, we'd seen that Morgan had killed, like, what might have been a father and son, as he said. And then he sees that son, zombified, come back on him later, and he just kind of freezes, and, Eastman has to save him, and that causes Eastman to get bitten. So Eastman's basically done at that point. And, their last words together are, well thought out, too. I thought that was pretty well written. And, they don't show Eastman killing himself on screen or anything like that. I don't think they had to. We just see Morgan walking past the grave he had marked earlier. I'm in the grave he ended up marking for him. And that's something else Eastman did. If he could, he'd find out, like, everyone's identities I'd come across, even the walkers and stuff, and bury them and actually write their names on the, the cross he put on them and stuff like that. And then at the end of the episode, of course, we see Morgan seeing the terminus sign and heading off that way, but of course, later on he ended up seeing Rick's warning not to go there. And then at the beginning and end of the episode, we see Morgan talking to someone, telling him the story that we see. And it turns out to be that wolf who some of us thought he actually ended up killing in the last week that he had let go previously, And it turns out Morgan's holding him in this place in Alexandria, and he's trying to do for him what Eastman did for Morgan. But it doesn't really appear that the member of the Wolves is going to be brought around like that. But Morgan's still giving him a chance. He's locking that door, though someone else comes in and sees what he's doing. But, I have a bad feeling about this. I don't think he's going to end up killing Morgan, but I do feel like that guy's going to end up getting loose somehow. He's going to end up killing someone at least semi-important, and then that'll get Rick pissed at Morgan and stuff. But that's just where I see it going. But, yeah, so that's all I really have to say about the plot and the story of this week's episode. Not much to talk about, but I do think it was really well done. And I really think it's dumb when people complain about the slower episodes, because, again, it's a character drama. It's a character-driven story, not, just zombie. So, yeah, I did really enjoy the episode. Although the gripe I mentioned earlier that I almost forgot to get to, I do think the placement of this episode was a little bit weird. Because, of course, the second episode had that, like Carol and Morgan-centric thing. their different ways of dealing with the wolves attacking Alexandria. And I thought this episode would have fit more if it came right after that, right after Morgan had knocked the guy out, instead of having that like action-packed Glenn cliffhanger type of thing and then getting back to this. I thought that was like shifting the different types of momentum a little bit too drastically, too quickly. But yeah, overall I did really like the episode, and I do appreciate the character-driven and slower-paced plots. The episodes when they're well done like this, and I think most of the time The Walking Dead's right on with this stuff. So yeah, I did like the episode. Glad to be back in my routine of things with this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on, add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Movie Pilot, look around SpoiledDead.com. We'll be releasing a Catherine Isabel tribute for her birthday. That'll be the next video I'll be putting out. So catch you guys for that, and peace. Here's not here.